Self-discrepancy theory. Terrific way to kick off a channel, don't you think? Let's bite into that. Hey survivors, it's your favorite Undead Boy Sunday, here to help you grow your brain. Totally not for harvesting or anything. Anyway, let's get into the subject. Self-discrepancy theory. Now I could just tell you about it, explain the history of it, beliefs surrounding it, blah blah blah. But that wouldn't be any fun. So instead, I've decided we're gonna have a little audience participation. Okay, I know the channel just started and I'm already asking you to do work, but trust me that if you follow along, you may actually learn something. So please take out a piece of paper, a Word document, a copy of a used textbook, or whatever trash people take notes on these days. I'm never getting my money back. We're going to be making 3 lists, so leave yourself space to do so. Some of you may find these easy to fill out, while others may want to take their time. Please feel free to pause the video at any point. So for the first list, we're going to number from 1 to 20 and write actual at the top. We're going to fill out this with descriptions of the person we think we are, or in other words, our actual self. Things such as happy, hungry, craving the flesh of the reliable. The next list is going to be numbered from 1 to 10, entitled ideal. We're going to fill out this list with descriptions of the person we want to be, or our ideal self. Usually positive traits such as intelligent or powerful will go into this list. And the last list will once again be numbered 1 to 10, but this time will be labeled ought. This will be filled with descriptions of the person we feel we ought to be. Now some of you may be thinking, hey Sunday, this video is terrible. Also, wouldn't the ought list and the ideal list be the same? And I'll say that for some of you, it may very well be. But the key difference is while the ideal self is the self we want to be, the ought self is the self we feel obligated to be. An example is wanting to be a rich criminal entrepreneur, but feeling obligated to have a normal desk job. If you haven't already, please fill out these lists now. Remember to feel free to pause the video. I'll be here, stuck in the screen, waiting, forever. Hell. Alright, got your answers? Great. Now I'm going to give you a brief explanation of the theory so you can interpret your results. Self-discrepancy theory is a theory in social psychology that was created in the 80s by a guy named Edward Torrey Higgins. The theory he proposed attributes negative feelings to the discrepancies between these lists, and these negative emotions exist to drive us to maintain balance between them. Now the full theory goes on even further, covering things such as discrepancy between our versions of these lists and how others close to us would fill out these lists for us. Some versions even go as far as to propose other versions of the self as well, such as the social self. But for the sake of trying not to make this video 2 hours long, and to keep our diagram like this, and not like this, we're going to keep it to just 3. We like the triangle. The triangle is safe. First, let's look at the actual and ideal list. If there are items that appear in the ideal list that do not appear in the actual list, then according to the theory, this could cause feelings of depression. The more of these differences that exist, the stronger the feeling. This depression is caused by feelings of inadequacy from the belief that the life we want is out of our reach. This is especially a problem for those who want for unrealistic things, such as being the richest man alive, or wanting a government that's not overpaid and underskilled. Did that hit too close to home? 'Cause that is home. Next, we'll compare the ideal list and the ought list. The feeling that is brought on by the differences, or discrepancies, between these two lists is shame. We feel shame in the idea that the person we want to be is morally frowned upon. Before we move forward, I would like to point out something. Notice I said shame instead of guilt. These words are commonly used interchangeably, but in psychology we see them as different. Guilt is where a person does something they identify as wrong and feels bad about the action they've taken. Shame is where a person does something they identify as wrong and feel bad about the person they are as a result. Now that we've clarified that, let's move on. The last pair we'll be talking about is the difference between the ought list and the actual list. The discrepancies that are seen between these two are said to bring about feelings of anxiety. We feel anxiety in the pressure of failing to meet the moral expectations that we hold for ourselves. Failing to meet our own moral standards can very easily overwhelm us. This can be more of an issue for those in positions that are expected to have 24/7 moral high ground, such as priests, doctors, or even psychologists. Not me though. I have no moral standards. I'm dead. So these feelings, depression, shame, and anxiety exist to bring us into balance between ourselves. It's a popular belief that a healthy mind exists in the positive similarities between these groups. It's uncommon to have everything in perfect balance, but striving to keep them as harmonized as possible can help prevent distressful feelings in the future. So that's your brain for food. I mean, food for your brain. Now I want to ask you survivors, do you think Higgins' theory is correct? Did you learn something about yourself while participating? Leave it in the comments below. Also, like and subscribe and hit that dead ringer so you can join me in the next video where I talk about memory and ways to improve it. Anyway, until next time, be safe, or you may end up like me.